Welcome. Let's jump right into this. Today, we're embarking on a journey to the very peaks of the mountains to explore an absolutely beautiful Amazigh fable. High up in a village of stone and light, suspended perfectly between heaven and earth, this timeless story unfolds. And you know, this tale isn't just about crossing a physical landscape. It's really a map for the human spirit. So, settle in, because the lessons hidden in this incredible story are exactly the kind of wisdom we can apply to our own everyday modern challenges.
Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine, just for a second, that the stakes are as high as they can possibly be. The person you love most in the entire world is in real danger, and the only cure lies across a treacherous, unforgiving mountain range. When faced with that kind of abyss, what do you reach for? Do you rush in with blinding speed? Do you just force your way through with sheer physical strength? Or do you pause and rely on patience? Keep that question in your mind because it is literally the heart of the trials our young heroes are about to face.
So our story begins in a peaceful, perched village where a dark shadow has suddenly crossed the threshold. Grandfather Arezki, the beloved guardian of memories and tales, is burning with a fever that no ordinary remedy can soothe. Seeing him suffer, his 3 young grandchildren make a solemn vow to retrieve the healing water of the celestial spring. And think about how perfectly balanced this trio is. You have Salwa at 11, the strategist with bright eyes and a map. Abdul Jalil, who's 9, robust and loyal like a young cedar tree, just silently shouldering all the heaviest packs. And then there's little Mohammed, 8 years old, bringing this gentle spirit. He literally packs a single wildflower so his grandfather will remember beauty while he waits. I mean, how sweet is that?
As they stand at the edge of the known world, looking out toward these massive snow-capped peaks, Salwa adjusts her braid and sets the spiritual mindset for their entire journey. She whispers a prayer of gratitude for their strength and invokes tawakkul. Now, tawakkul is a deeply powerful concept. It basically means having absolute trust in what we cannot see. It's relying completely on divine providence for the unknown road ahead. She's beautifully setting the stage here. They're going to do their part, absolutely, but they have to trust the mountain to reveal the rest.
Let's see how this builds across the geography of the mountain. Because this isn't just some casual weekend hike. It's a classic hero's journey, marked by really distinct trials. Leaving the safety of their terraced olive groves, they have to navigate a vertiginous canyon, find their way through a mind-bending labyrinth of mossy rocks, and ultimately push through sheer exhaustion to reach the crystalline summit of the celestial spring. And each stage, it's perfectly designed to test a totally different part of their character.
Right away, their very first obstacle is terrifying. The earth suddenly opens up into this deep canyon. The story actually describes it as a wound in the earth. Suspended over this roaring abyss is an old, tired rope bridge. It looks incredibly fragile. The wind is howling, the river is just a tiny ribbon way down below, and crossing means stepping entirely out of their comfort zone and straight into the void.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this moment highlights 2 completely opposite reactions to fear. Abdul Jalil, whose courage kind of outpaces his thinking sometimes, just rushes forward. He tries to use sheer force and speed, but his heavy, frantic steps cause the fragile bridge to swing violently, waking up the roar of the abyss. He literally makes the danger worse. But then check out 8-year-old Mohammed. He stops, he closes his eyes, and sends up a light prayer, like a bird taking flight. Instantly, the bridge calms down. The real victory here isn't just crossing a gap, it's mastering the turbulence inside yourself. As Abdel Jalil freezes on the swaying ropes, Salwa places a firm, calming hand on his shoulder and delivers this profound piece of wisdom. She says, "Strength without softness is a lamp without oil. It burns, then goes out." I want you to just think about that for a second. Where in your own life are you applying force without softness? Where are you burning up all your oil by just pushing harder instead of pausing to approach the problem with a little grace? Well, having survived the canyon, the mountain throws an entirely different kind of puzzle at them. They enter a labyrinth of giant moss-covered boulders. It's this cave of shadows and echoes where shafts of light pierce the mist, and every single trail looks exactly the same. The fable says even the wind loses its way here. It's the ultimate test of direction and purpose. Once again, impatience flares up. Abdul Jalil wants to just push straight ahead. He's totally mistaken forward momentum for actual clarity. But Salwa takes a radically different approach. She treats the environment like a text to be understood, not an enemy to be conquered. She literally kneels down to read nature's alphabet. She studies the emerald moss, she checks the animal tracks on the wet rock, and she observes the angle of the sunlight. She is deeply, deeply mindful. And right here, she shares another total gem of insight. Wisdom is not to walk faster, it is to know why we walk.
Her peaceful, patient heart quite literally shifts their reality. As the story beautifully puts it, the stones themselves, touched by such patience, part like a lifted veil. God traces the way for those who seek with a calmed heart. By slowing down, they actually found the only true path forward.
So just as they're making good time, they hit their final and honestly perhaps most beautiful test. It isn't a terrifying canyon, it isn't a confusing maze, it's a moment of sheer, unexpected fragility. In an alpine meadow, Muhammad spots a bird's nest that has fallen from a juniper tree, and there's a tiny, trembling chick inside. But time is running out. Grandfather's fever is burning. The rushing urgency of their grand mission suddenly clashes head-on with this tiny, immediate suffering right at their feet.
Abdul Jalil sighs in frustration. They simply don't have the time. But Salwa is already on her knees, turning her hands into a cradle for the bird. She tells her brothers that loving and protecting creation is a prayer in itself. And this brings us to the beautiful concept of ihsan. Ihsan means doing things with absolute beauty, benevolence, and love. It's the deep understanding that the divine source does not distance itself from those who know how to stop and care for the vulnerable.
This brilliantly illustrates a core truth of the fable. The children unite to rebuild the nest, and in doing so, something shifts inside Abdul Jalil. His rough impatience finally, truly softens into genuine kindness. They place the nest safely back in the branches, and as a reward, the mother bird returns, and our song seems to fall like dew, miraculously opening a hidden trail on the grass. By stopping to show compassion, they were actually propelled right toward their ultimate destination. Following that miraculous path, they finally make it to the summit. The celestial spring is right in front of them. Crystalline water is gushing into a stone basin, sparkling like a silver thread fallen from paradise. But there is a final, breathtaking twist to this journey. The cure for their grandfather and for themselves might not be exactly what they thought. So, what is the true remedy? Sitting by the turquoise water is an old, wise man in a traditional white burnous. He greets them with this benevolent smile, telling them he's been waiting for them. But then, he reveals the deepest secret of the mountain. He tells them, this water was already flowing in your hearts. The faith that united you, the patience that calmed you, the compassion that stopped you, that is the true remedy. The water is simply a reflection of the profound spiritual awakening they've just undergone. So the crucial point is this: the journey itself was the medicine. Look at their transformation. They left the village as 3 separate kids driven by the fear of losing their grandfather. They were tested physically by the canyon, mentally by the labyrinth, and emotionally by that fallen nest. And they arrived at the spring not as 3 disjointed individuals, but as one unified, harmonious spirit. The quest healed their own inner anxieties before a single drop of water was brought back home. Now imagine the scene as they return. The village is completely bathed in the golden light of sunset. The children walk under the stone arch, arms around each other, carrying the copper gourd of water. And there, standing right on the threshold, is Grandfather Arezki. He is already smiling before he even takes a sip. He knows that while the water will absolutely heal his physical body, it's the recounting of their incredible journey, the story of their growth, that will truly heal his soul, and the souls of everyone in the village. As evening falls on the village, the story tells us that the sky itself became illuminated, with golden letters suspended like a blessing over the valley, spelling out this timeless moral. True wealth is not in the goal we reach, but in the beauty of the journey shared, and the hand extended to another. It's such a powerful reminder that our fixations on the finish line often totally blind us to the profound beauty of the people we're walking beside, and those small acts of kindness we can offer along the way. I want to leave you with a question to really ponder as we wrap up our explainer today. What mountains are you climbing in your life right now? Are you burning all your oil by rushing blindly toward the summit, driven by anxiety? Or are you practicing tawakkul and ihsan? Are you trusting the path, showing patience in the labyrinth, and finding the time to extend a hand of compassion? Remember, every mountain climbed with a pure heart is a spring that never runs dry. Take that thought with you today.